Hello, good evening and welcome to News at 10 on TV3 with me, Martin, Asiedu-Dartey. Coming up, here are the major headlines for today. Starting from the seat of government, and President Akufo-Addo has indicated the government's decision to operate a legal and technically open system that will ensure all activities under his administration are transparent. The president was delivering a keynote address at the Open Data Conference in Accra. Also, government has been reminded to make access to quality healthcare a major priority on its development agenda. Public health consultant Dr. George Amofa says it should go the extra mile to remove bottlenecks and bring efficiency into the operations of the National Health Insurance Scheme. Now, the Ministry of Trade and Industry is in the process of validating and adopting a national quality policy intended to enhance the competitiveness of Ghanaian products on the international market. Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry Carlos Ahinkra made this known at a policy validation workshop in Accra. In other news, the Ghana Tourism Federation says non-compliance with the 1% levy by hotel operators is impacting negatively on raising funds to promote tourism. Some hotel owners, however, say the payment is taking a toll on their business. Elsewhere, the prosecution in the case involving 5 Chinese nationals accused of engaging in illegal mining has told an Accra High Court that attempts to locate the supposed husband of Aisha Huang, the first accused person, has proved futile. The prosecutor told the court investigations have revealed that the supposed husband possesses passports from 3 different countries. And on the entertainment scene, I beg your pardon, one of Ghana's great high life musicians, Papa Yankson, has passed on at the age of 73. All right, time now though for the big one. Thank you very much for staying with TV3. This is News at 10. My name is Martin Asiedu-Dartey. Details of our stories now. The Trades Union Congress, TUC, has cautioned government to ensure stringent fiscal discipline when the IMF agreement is completed next year. Secretary General Dr. Yaoban noted that the tight fiscal discipline would assist government to create more jobs and foster a living wage for workers.
Secretary General Dr. Yaoban was reacting to the president's assertions at a media encounter. He lauded the president for his decision not to extend the IMF deal when it is completed, hopeful that more jobs would be created for Ghanaians.
We are now ready to talk about productivity, work attitudes and those things with government. And we are happy that we are going to do that at the back of IMF after April 2018. That for me is a good news. There's no better news than that.
On borrowing, Dr. Yaoban charged government to ensure that adequate local resources are mobilized to boost investor confidence.
Under this government, I think the creditors are happy that they can come and invest. They also want money, but they don't just give money if they are not sure you can pay back. The fact that they are giving us billions of Ghana cedis, and I hear we are going for more. If we get it at a reasonable rate, it's a sign that we are a credible nation and they are ready to invest here.
However, the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union ICU rather pleaded with the president to explain how he will mobilize resources after pulling out of the IMF agreement.
Free SHS is very huge. Let's come along with the kind of NHIS that they want to do. By now, making sure that some new element that was not under the program are now going to be introduced. Okay, so it's like most of the promise have to do with money. At the moment, we are not sure whether some donors, will be coming in to rescue us.
The General Secretary asked government to initiate policies which would reduce the cost of electricity.
Electricity bills payments. Okay, so if they realize that they need some more time, for the fact also that we haven't seen any downward review, be it on the domestic front or on the industrial and commercial front, okay, it shows that they are still working. It is for this reason ICU is saying that for us, the 6 months is too short a time for us to see what comes out of it.
And let's find out really from a financial analyst how government can prepare itself as we get ready to win ourselves of the support of the IMF. Kamaldeen is a financial analyst. Mohammed Kamaldeen has joined us via phone. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening.
To start with,
good evening to your listeners.
Right. What would you say are some of the positives we can draw as a country that went to the IMF and are looking forward to, cutting our umbilical cord from this same institution in the next few months?
One thing we can all boast about is the fiscal stability we are seeing currently. It is out of the program. We've been able to control some aspects of our expenditure. And currently we are seeing the downward trend in most of the things that otherwise would have been going wayward. If you look at the election year last year, not for the program, the averages would have been too much. And to get the economy back on track as done quickly would have not been possible for now. So I am believing that it is able to stabilize the microeconomic indicators for now, which is something very good for us. And if we are able to stay disciplined on that line, as currently we're having, if our umbilical cord is taken off, we should be able to survive in a better fashion.
On the same score, there are those who are saying that, still with the IMF program, interest rates are still high and the cost of borrowing is still high. Inflation has dropped, however. How could we have at least managed that aspect of our economy, at least the fact that we were to get interest rates dropping so borrowing can be, lesser on those who are borrowing from the banks?
Yes, interest rate dropping depends on a number of factors. If, for instance, the treasury bill rate, which is a risk-free rate, is around 12 for 90 days, 13,182, and then the 1 year note is going for 15%. This is a risk-free rate. At this rate, you are sure that your investment is secured and you wouldn't have any issue of non-performing. You would definitely get your money back.
Okay.
This is still too high. The monetary policy rate is also still very high. Currently, we're talking around 22.5, which we believe that if these rates are actually brought down, that would have a positive impact on the interest rates. But these rates interact in a very funny manner. And for those reasons, to see somebody bring down the interest rate marginally or so deep would be to have these other things also come down. Inflation coming down, yes, is good. We expect that to be able to draw down the risk which is quoted on this risk-free investment, as in the treasury bill. And again, we would expect these monetary policy rates to also come down. If these things are not so down as we expect, we're still going to have the interest rate being quite high. Yes, we have seen a little downward trend in that too over some few months now back.
Right.
Still, that is still too high.
The current administration has struggled with meeting its mid-year revenue target. Could it be...
can you come again, please?
Yes, the current administration, that's the current government, has had some challenges in meeting the mid-year target, revenue target. Could it in any way be related to the fact that we are under the IMF program?
I'm not too sure that could be something we will blame entirely for the miss in the revenue targets. And a lot of other factors could have come into play. The first 6 months of governance for them, yes, they were being optimistic in their setup of the use target, yes. Policies that had been put in place to actually draw revenues higher maybe would not be seeing effect in these times. And it is most likely that these targets were going to be missed in the first two quarters. And then we expect some gradual increase in these things over the next 2 quarters.
As a financial analyst, if government is to call on you to help it put measures in place or control measures in place, so at least we do not go out of these control measures while we were on the IMF program, what will your key pointers be for the government?
I didn't get your question right.
I'm asking that we are in the next few months going to be, getting out of the IMF program. And I'm asking that what are some of the control measures we can put in place so we at least are still fiscally disciplined as a country?
Yes. Currently, what we want and we will have to still stress on is the discipline when it comes to expenditure. The expenditure discipline has to be re-encoded. And apart from that, things that we have to do to increase the economic drive, both the private sector, which we claim to be the engine of growth, is one thing to be looking out to. So policies that I'll be putting in place would actually be gearing towards increasing productivity within the private sector. And if these ones are also done, it's going to go a long way to keep our fiscal discipline in check.
Okay. That sounds quite positive, though. But looking at the fact that government has also, and that's actually my final question, government has re-echoed severally that it intends to create jobs and boost the economy. If we wean ourselves from the IMF program, are there any plausible challenges the current administration's project may face?
I'm not too sure we're going to have too many a challenge on that.
But at least we could face some challenges.
Yeah, what would wean ourselves off? Because of the policy being in place, there are things that we actually would think of doing back for the monitoring that is being done on us. We say, okay, I don't have to go this far because of this. And for just that same simple reason, you could control yourself in some aspects. But where that control is missing, as a political party in power, when the pressure comes from within, you are tempted to give in to some of these pressures. And that is one thing that can set us wayward. But apart from that, we should be able to stay cool without that, increase the productivity, increase our revenues within the private sector, boost the private sector, and jobs will be created.
Okay. Thank you very much for making time to speak with us this evening. Mohammed Kamaldeen is a financial analyst sharing his thoughts on the fact that in the next few months, Ghana will be severing ties with the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, under whose program the country has been praised for being financially disciplined or fiscally disciplined. Kudos to the government, past and current administration. We'll keep you posted on latest developments with regard to that. Away from that, though, President Akufo-Addo has indicated that government's decision would stay on the fact that he wants to operate a legal and technical open system that will ensure that all activities under his administration are transparent. The president was delivering a keynote address at the Open Data Conference in Accra.
About 600 experts and stakeholders converged in Accra for a 2-day conference to discuss ways to fast-track the implementation of an open data system in Africa. Ghana made a commitment to join the Open Government Partnership, an initiative to promote transparency, empower citizens and fight corruption, as well as harness new technologies to strengthen governance. President Akufo-Addo said embracing open data system is the surest way of deepening democracy.
These engagements, it is anticipated, will help promote the development and harmonization of data standards across the continent. Ghana, and indeed Africa, welcome partnerships and technical assistance from our friends and open data industry leaders in our quest to develop effective and efficient open data systems.
He assured government will remain accountable to the people.
Government, under the e-Transform project, is working to create innovation hubs and mobile labs. Government will establish an open data institute to promote education, management and use of open data, especially for the development of mobile and web-based applications.
The conference on the theme, Open Data for Sustainable Development in Africa. Meanwhile, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has since left for Ivory Coast for a 3-day state visit.
Okay, let's go to the police headquarters now. The Inspector General of Police, David Asante-Pietu, has made another reshuffle among the senior officers of the Ghana Police Service with immediate effect.
The internal release on Friday, July 21, which was intercepted by the media, was necessitated by some retiring officers in the top hierarchy. The new changes moved the Director General of ICT, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, the position of the Director General of Operations. He replaces COP Christian Tete-Yohonu, who has now been appointed Director General in charge of special duties. The former Director General, Special Duties, COP Prosper Ablo, is now the Director General Welfare, as ACP Anthony Edu moves in as the Director General ICT. The former Director General Welfare, COP Ransford Moses Ninsen, has begun his leave prior to retirement.
Meanwhile, the IGP has asked all commanders across the country to deal ruthlessly with persons who may look like suspects and want to perpetrate crime, especially on police personnel. Details of that story will be in our subsequent bulletins here on TV3. Time now for a quick break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us. Thank you very much for staying with TV3. This is News at 10. Let's shift our attention to some business stories. And the Trades Union Congress has warned its executives not to hold political party positions or risk being dismissed from the union. The Secretary General, Dr. Yao Ban, gave the warning at a ceremony to accept new unions to join the Trades Union Congress in Accra.
The new unions are the Cocoa Research Institute Workers Union and the General Construction Manufacturing Workers Union, the United Spare Parts and Merchants of Ghana Workers Union, and the Aluminium Fabrication Association of Ghana Workers Union. The number of affiliated unions to TUC, both in the formal and informal sectors, have increased to 35. Secretary General of TUC, Dr. Yao Ban, warned the members not to engage in open politics, which would undermine the strength of the union. He again cautioned against holding political party positions.
When I first came to TUC more than 20 years ago, our vice chairman became a DCE in Koforidua. He resigned. And then we have had others resign in the last couple of years because either they contested for an MP in their constituency as NDC or MPP. They resign, so it's not a problem in there. We want to remain as neutral as possible.
Deputy General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union, GAO, and the TEGU, lauded the Cocoa Research Institute Workers Union for rejoining the TUC. The union was initially with GAO until it broke away for some 5 years ago.
Consolidated membership with CHED, that is the Cocoa Extension, the Extension Division. We have consolidated our membership with the SPD, that is the Seed Production Division, and our third membership is CREG.
In other news this evening, an average of 222 trucks of fecal matter is treated daily at the Lavender Hill Fecal Treatment Plant in Accra. This follows the official closure of the old Lavender Hill at Jamestown in Accra 7 months ago.
It gained the ironic name Lavender Hill over a century ago due to the stench that emanated from the raw fecal matter that was deposited into the sea. The stench generated a lot of inconvenience for residents and businesses in the area, with regular motorists of that stretch having their own share. Former President John Dramani Mahama on November 25 last year inaugurated the Lavender Hill fecal treatment plant to stop dumping of untreated waste into the sea. 6 months on after full operation, the plant, which is managed by the Sewage Systems Ghana Limited, treats 80% of fecal matter generated in Accra alone. In all, it treats 2,000 cubic meters of fecal matter daily.
You can even connect this to the One District, One Factory project. Now, if you have a small fecal treatment plant, the byproducts are clear water, compost, and then biogas. You can even, let's say you want to have a tin tomato plant or factory, you can have the compost feeding the plants, you have the water as irrigation, and then you can have the plant where you can have the energy also supporting what you're doing in the factory.
The raw fecal matter goes through a long chain of processes before the final extraction provides this clean water. The facility also produces fertilizer while electricity power is also generated.
The leachate is being sent forward to the USB tanks where biogas is supposed to be generated, but currently we've bypassed it, so we are just doing the water treatment.
The general manager of the Sewage Systems Ghana Limited, Engineer Florence Cobold, says the existence of foreign materials, especially from fecal matter generated from public toilets, is affecting their work.
There are some of the pumps, that the motors get bent. We have to change the pumps. Just 6 months, we have changed a lot of pumps, and it bends the motor. Sometimes you have to remove it and go and rewind it.
The $80 million plant has a well-equipped laboratory, a 5,500 cubic meter tank, and a machine for odor control, among other facilities.
We apologize for, some of the images there. If we disturbed your sensibilities, forgive us. Away from that, the Ministry of Education has directed the newly inaugurated Council of the University of Education in Winneba to, within 3 days, seek an out-of-court settlement and resolve the problems of the university. The Minister of State in charge of tertiary education, Professor Kwesi Yankah, is confident the new governing council would act and promptly get to the issues and ensure that they have an out-of-court settlement.
Already, members of UTAG have withdrawn their services due to the court's decision not to allow them to join the case. Students on campus and those are waiting to graduate by next week are stranded due to strike decision. Swearing in a new governing council, Minister of State in charge of tertiary tasked the council to restore peace.
To the new council, I urge you to use your enormous wealth of experience to restore calm to the university and expeditiously bring normalcy to campus.
For that reason, the council has scheduled an emergency meeting on Wednesday, July 19, to get the issues resolved. The council has agreed to immediately seek out-of-court settlement to allow smooth administration of the university. Professor Emmanuel Nicholas Abaka is the new council chairman.
Let me call on the registrar to invite the university lawyers to be present, because the case in court calls for lawyers to advise us to come by the best way to settle the case out of court.
Meanwhile, the Minister of State, Professor Kwesi Yankah, has disclosed government decision to complete the draft copy on the National Research Fund.
We are hopeful that sooner than later, the fund will be established to offer an appropriate funding regime for research in our institutions of higher learning. We place huge emphasis on the continuous linkage between academia and industry and the world of work to ensure curriculum relevance, thereby reducing graduate unemployment.
And let's bring you some entertainment news this evening. And high life legendary Ghanaian musician Papa Yankson has passed on at the age of 73. He died earlier today at his home at Dansoman. Here's a report put together for you.
Prolific composer Benjamin Papa Kofi Yankson was born on June 22, 1944 at Winneba. He was discovered at a very tender age while singing at the funeral of a neighbor. He landed his first music contract after he performed at his mother's funeral. The High Life great is remembered for his impressive exploits with the Western Diamonds Band. The multiple award-winning musician has over 15 albums to his credit with songs like Yaba, Show Your Love, his duet with Paulina Odro, Tenamenchen, was the toast of many. The legend is also remembered for mentoring many musicians.
And it's a sad news. He's one of the greatest, actually. His music will live on. You know, his writings will live on. He has a kid, so that his children too, who are equally talented, so they will actually take his place. But it's a loss.
He's a great composer. He has great vocals, even at his age.
The celebrated singer has, however, not been in the best of health conditions lately. In November 2016, he waged a comeback performing at the Bottles and Band concert in a wheelchair. The prolific composer was the recipient of the 2017 VGMA Lifetime Achievement Award for helping sustain the High Life journey. TV3 received confirmation of the demise of the 73-year-old former band member of the Golden Nuggets on July 21. He left behind 6 children and a wife. May his soul rest in perfect peace.
Show your love, show your love, show your love, show. Hey,
well, that's Papa Youngson. He passed on earlier today. May his very harmonious soul rest in perfect peace. But in remembering him, do play a Papa Youngson song in your car at home. At least this weekend, enjoy a Papa Youngson song. That's it for the bulletin. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Martin Asiedu-Dartey. Do have a pleasant weekend. Bye for now.